Hello friends, welcome to the new video of Little Insights. Today, let's go through some important points to remember in new criticism. So, what is new criticism? This is actually a style of criticism in which focus is giving only to that particular text, that is, analyzing the literature based on the text alone. For example, even if we are analyzing a poem, there will be a particular theme in it. Also, there will be certain figures of speech in it, that is, simile, metaphor, personification, etc. So, according to new criticism, interpretation of that poem is completely based on taking into account what is mentioned in that poem rather than considering the intention of the author behind writing that poem, that is, his emotional feeling, mood, etc., while writing that poem. So next is about the origin of this theory. So this theory got originated in USA and Great Britain. Next is about the founder of new criticism, that is none other than J.C. Ransom, who is also a founder of Kenyon Review. Next, close reading. This is actually an important term related to new criticism. That is, what is close reading? It is actually a detailed analysis. It means a detailed analysis of any text in order to understand the meaning in it, hidden meaning in it. Next, about the major theorists of this new criticism, they are Alan Tate, R.P. Warren, J.C. Ransom, Cleand Brooks, William Emerson, and F.R. Lewis. So next point is that the word new criticism, the name of this movement, that is new criticism, and it is first used by J.E. Swinburne. And another point is that it is J.C. Ransom. He actually published a work named The New Criticism, which actually inspired the other theorists to name this whole movement. Next, they believed that, the new critics believed that in order to be a good critic, you must be objective. Objective means unbiased while interpreting something, that is, personal opinions should not be affected in our interpretation. Next point is that every text is autotelic. Autotelic means self-contained. That is, every text is self-contained. Every text is autotelic artifact. That is, meaning of the particular text lies within it. That is actually what they believe. Next is about the contributions of these theorists. First is about I.A. Richards. So I.A. Richards is the first person who used the word practical criticism for the first time. Practical criticism means that is, while reading a poem, we actually give importance to its form for interpreting its meaning rather than giving importance to the author's background, what that author intended, etc. Next is about the major works of I.A. Richards, that is Meaning of Meaning, that is actually combined work with C.K. Ogden. Next is Principles of Literary Criticism. Next, Practical Criticism, and other work is Philosophy of Rhetoric. So, in the work Principles of Literary Criticism, he actually mentioned about two uses of language. First one is scientific and second one is emotive. Scientific language means that is, we talk about facts, what is believed to be true or false, like that. Emotive language is can be seen in poetry, giving importance to the emotions of the poet, etc. That is the difference between scientific language and emotive language. In the work Practical Criticism, he actually mentioned about four kinds of meaning. They are sense, feeling, tone, and intention. Next is about William Emerson. So some of his important works are, first one is Seven Types of Ambiguity, then some versions of Pastoral, and Milton's God. Among these three works, Seven Types of Ambiguity is the most famous one. So in that work, Seven Types of Ambiguity, William Emerson mentioned about the seven ambiguities. Ambiguities, which is a word similar to doubt. Doubt actually we develop while reading something. So he mentioned about the seven ambiguities which a reader goes through while reading any particular text. So because of these ambiguities, the readers are actually producing multiple meanings in their mind. That actually leads to add unclarity about its real meaning. Next is about W.K. Wimsatt and Monroe C. Beardsley. So the famous work written by them is Verbal Icon, Studies in the Meaning of Poetry. So in this particular work, they actually mentioned about two important concepts. They are intentional fallacy and affective fallacy. So about intentional fallacy. So it is a kind of a fallacy or an error we actually do while interpreting the meaning of a text by actually getting understand about the author's intention behind the construction of a particular work. Wimsatt and Manrosi Birdsley says that it is actually a fallacy we actually made. Next is about affective fallacy. Affective fallacy is also a kind of an error, that is actually an error of judgment based on the emotional effect on the reader while reading something. That is, they actually says that our emotions should not affect an interpretation of any particular text. Next is about Alan Tate. Alan Tate is famous for two concepts, that is, two kinds of meaning and tension in the poetry. According to Alan Tate, there are actually two kinds of meaning in a particular text. That is denotative meaning, that is actually surface meaning, and connotative meaning, which is hidden meaning. In the case of the next concept, that is tension in the poetry, he actually used this particular term to mention about intention and extension. Extension actually refers to what he meant by denotative meaning in the poetry. Whereas the word intention refers to the connotative meaning or suggestive meaning within a poetry. According to him, according to Alan Tate, both these meanings, that is denotative meaning and connotative meaning, are actually in a state of tension. And this tension is actually the life of the poem, according to Alan Tate. Next is about Cleanthe Brooks. So, some of the important works of Cleanthe Brooks are Well Brought On Studies in the Structure of Poetry, Modern Poetry and the Tradition, and the Language of Paradox. So, in the work Well Brought On, he introduced about the concept heresy of paraphrase. This is actually the title of one of the chapters in it. What actually he meant by heresy of paraphrase? Paraphrase is actually when we summarizing something. Heresy means some kind of error. So with this concept, he actually meant that when we summarize a text or a long poem into a short paragraph, it is actually like committing an error to it. That is because its original value is actually losing while doing it. So next, in the work Language of Paradox, he actually introduced this or defined the term paradox. Paradox is actually opposite of something, an opposite meaning. Here he says that language of paradox is very essential to poetry. So while using paradox, there is a beauty lies in it. So here he actually proves it by mentioning some poems. One is Wordsworth's Composed upon Westminster's Bridge, and the next one is Canonization. So thank you all. Hope this video helps you to have a basic idea about new criticism. See you next time.